So I beat Me and My Katamari, and I'm sort of going through like a little marathon right now for Katamari because there is a brand new one coming out which we haven't had since 2011 on the PS Vita, which I also haven't played. So I want to go through and really play through the whole series. Obviously, I've played the first game and I've played We Love Katamari, but I have yet to play Me and My Katamari, Beautiful Katamari, and Katamari Forever. I might play the PS Vita one, but I hear it's like the weakest out of all of them. And I don't have a PS Vita, so I'd have to emulate it. And even though, when I'm emulating, I can't do like the touch controls and stuff, which I know aren't mandatory, but I don't know. For this, I did play it on both an emulator and my actual PSP. I played through the whole game on my PSP, and then sort of went back on an emulator to sort of play in higher resolution, sort of see, go over some of the levels again. And I liked it because at the end of the day, Katamari is Katamari. A lot of these games are essentially the same thing, just with some new features, some new cousins, some quality of life changes, and that's about it. It's why there's a lot of complaints of the series getting stale over time, but it's something that I never really get sick of. I just started a new playthrough of We Love Katamari. I played through like half of the first game in like, a night, because these games are short, they're fun, they're quick. It's one of my favorite series of all time. And I'm glad that I finally got to sit down and play Me and My Katamari on the PSP. Like I said, I played it on original hardware, and the main thing people talk about is the controls. Yeah, the controls are very weird. At first, I just could not get a handle on it, but after a while, you sort of get used to it. There were definitely times where my thumbs would like be cramping up and hurting after doing one of like the longer like 10+ minute levels, and I would have to take a break. I would essentially pull it out, play a level, when I was waiting for something, waiting in the car, or whatever it may be, and then I would put it away. That was essentially how I beat the game, and it took me like about a week doing it that way. And I think playing it in that sort of fashion actually had a lot of fun. I feel like nowadays people are probably playing it, on an emulator, like you're seeing with this gameplay here, but playing it on real hardware, I think, really made me appreciate it more. Like, I'm still blown away by the fact that the PSP came out in like 2004 or 5 or whatever. Like, it still feels relatively modern. I think the biggest issue is the screen, but other than that, like, I'm right now I'm like sort of messing around with Ratchet and Clank, and I've in the past played through God of War and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, these look like PS2 games, and Katamari and Me and My Katamari is no different. I think the main thing you'll notice is the pop-in, obviously, but even that is on the PS2, and even the reroll stuff on like my PC. So it really isn't that much different. Just like I said, there's the issue with the controls, but I think about halfway through finally sort of got a grasp on it, and it wasn't too bad. But like I said, there was that issue with my hand sort of cramping up, and also doing like the dash thing where you like spin up really quick and boost forward. That almost never gets comfortable. Having to like slide your fingers back and forth on the face buttons just doesn't work, especially with the PSP's, let's be honest, awful D-pad. It just doesn't really work out. But you don't really need it for much of this game. Much of this game is pretty relaxed. I feel like We Love Katamari and stuff like that, there are much harder challenges to where you are having to utilize that boost a lot more. But here, I never really found myself needing it. Obviously, I didn't 100% it or anything like that. I played most levels just once or twice. I played at least all of them twice, because I did play it twice on an emulator and on whatever. But yeah, essentially, it's a portable Katamari game. I'm sure, like I said, if you played through an emulator, if you've already played through Katamari Damacy, We Love Katamari, and the other games, and then are going back to this game will definitely feel a little lackluster. I think there's only like one map in the game, and it sort of just gets bigger and bigger as you play the game, so it can definitely get repetitive in that sense. But like I said, it's Katamari. You're rolling stuff up, you're having fun. I think my main complaint is that I don't think there's any new music for this game. I think it is all taken from Katamari Damacy and We Love Katamari. So some newer music would have been great. At least a couple themes, maybe. Maybe I think the intro song might be new, but I'm not sure. They played this game really safe because this was the first game without Takahashi, is that his name? The creator of the series. And yeah, I thought the credit scene was cool, where you sort of play this weird 8-bit style thing. Yeah, I plan on maybe even tonight starting Beautiful Katamari on the Xbox Series. So I really wish they would just port those games. That and Katamari Forever, I think, really deserve good ports, especially Katamari Forever. I feel like it's so unique with its art style and stuff like that. So my marathon with Katamari continues, and I'm glad I got through this game. I really love the PSP. You know, I think it is like the perfect, just pocketable handheld. Maybe like the DS lighter I comes out, or maybe even like a normal 3DS. When it comes to like form factor, are maybe slightly better. I've never tried like a PS Vita or something like that, but God, I love the PSP. I'm actually currently modding it. I'm waiting on the parts right now. I have like a new faceplate coming. I have a PS Vita thumbstick I'm gonna put on there. I'm gonna have a new screen, IPS and stuff like that. I'm like trying to learn how to solder and shit. So that's a little project that I'm gonna be doing. But yeah, it's an alright Katamari game. I think Katamari games are at their core just pretty fun, and I think this game does that, and that's really all I could ask for.